The guy that you see with me is Jeff. His wife asked for separation.
I was fired from my job, so I hid that information from my wife for a period of months. I started to have something that I never imagined was possible for me. I had a panic attack. I don't want anybody to feel that doesn't have to. If you felt it before, you know what I'm talking about, and you don't deserve it. You said that word shame. I don't think I was capable of feeling it. And then I had to look at my kids and tell them that I was gonna be gone for a while, and that was a shame at the highest level.
I want other people to be able to learn from his story, because the pain that he's going through in regards to a separation is something that can be avoided.
If you're in a situation anything like mine, you can avoid it if you listen.
Everybody, please subscribe. We're going to be talking about some very important issues today. The guy that you see with me is Jeff. He's my best buddy. Known him for over 30 years. I have been helping him for 42 weeks now to lose weight. He started off at 354.6 pounds. He's currently 309.4 as we're shooting this video. So he has lost a lot of weight. He's lost 45.2 pounds. And in the very first video that we shot with his weight loss journey, I approached him with my feelings. And I started off the video by saying that I'm worried about him because he's obese and he's shortening his lifespan. And if we didn't do something about that, he wouldn't be with us probably sometime within the next 10 years. He's approaching his 50s, so probably on track for having a heart attack somewhere in his 50s. And I didn't want that to happen. As I was telling him this, I anticipated it going in. He tuned out. You could tell. You just look at his facial expression. It was blank. Tuned me out. Tuned me out. Tuned me out. Like you could tell. It was very obvious. Now, I've tried to bring this up several times prior and with the same reaction. Now, when someone tunes you out, it's because they don't want to hear it. And they have no interest in what you're saying, because what you're saying is going to cause them to have to make changes that they're not interested in making. So that's how we started. Now think about this. 42 weeks ago, we began with that attitude. And I've known him for 30 years. Keep this in mind. 30 years that I've known him. And the attitude is consistent. It was consistent with anything that was difficult, anything that didn't match what he defined as fun and interesting. He would cast it aside. And that didn't bother me because, quite honestly, I could tell that he was a good person. He had a good heart. We had a great time together. It was lots of fun. And I knew he was a loving man. So we've been for 30 years sharing a great friendship. We don't live close to one another any longer, but still kept in touch, still saw each other. It was just a wonderful connection that we share. And so recently we started on this weight loss endeavor, and 42 weeks in, he's down 45 pounds. But there have been far more important ramifications to his entire life that have occurred as of late. And some of these were happening in the midst of this weight loss journey of his, and we sort of touched on them during the episodes that we were shooting. We touched on the fact that he was going through difficult times, and we mentioned that it was going to be difficult for him this week and difficult for him over this next few weeks, and et cetera. But we never really got into it because he really didn't want to delve into his personal life. But now he does. He has decided that he wants to get into what makes him tick. And I'm like, okay, if you want to, we will. So the real crux of change for him as a human being came about a month ago when his wife asked for a separation. So I want you to take over from here.
Yeah, that was an eye-opener on obviously a new level. And so, just, I guess, to paint the picture, I've been married for 15 years. I have 2 beautiful children. My dream in life was to have a happy family and, provide well for a happy family and lead a happy family. And so, I had other aspirations earlier in my life. I always knew in my heart the family was the number one most important thing to me, but I pursued other, I was coaching college football for a while. That was a dream. I lived that dream, but I quickly realized in my early, mid-20s that was not going to be enough satisfaction for me. That the family was really the main objective, and so I made an intentional effort to move away from that, and I did not get married until I was 34, I think. So I was very intentional about the whole process. I was not rushing into marriage. I wanted to make sure it was a one and done. I wanted to find the right girl, and dedicate my life to her, and make it work, and so this was probably a long time coming, and we've had our ups and downs. We had a lot of ups. I had a positive career trajectory in schools and in school administration and coaching and all that good stuff. I did that, for a long time. And the last 5 years have been a rockier road, and it's contributed to the decline of my health. I've had a seizure condition, that has escalated as a result directly with the stress from work and challenges in the workplace. And so all those factors have put a lot of strain on the marriage. There's been job losses. I have committed horrible sin in the process. I had a tragic job loss, and we can get into as much detail as you need to. I want to help people, this. So about, I guess it's been 3 or so years ago, I was fired from my job, and I was so ashamed and guilty of it. And it was literally, the process of my firing took place on literally the beginning, where I had a meeting set up to meet with the folks who wanted to eventually do me in, was literally on the same day as the signing of our mortgage, or our closing, in a location that we had just moved to, or were just about to move into, which was the second move that I initiated for my family, and probably the least desirable, as we relocated back a year later after this all came to light. But that was the beginning of this spiral in the wrong direction, I would say, for sure. I had, again, the nice trajectory in the career for a long time, and then but that's where I turned the corner and became I guess, at a rapid rate, more destructive to my family and my marriage than ever before. And so I hid that information from my wife for a period of months. That meeting took place, I believe, in the month of, it was either the end of August or the beginning of September, where I was informed that I was going to be let go. And I really felt, very strongly that it was not just. And so I challenged it with a lawsuit. I cannot get into detail about that, but I held that information from my wife as well. And it all came to light in December of that year. And that really laid the foundation for what eventually wound up happening here just about a month ago. It's been downhill since. Communication has been challenging, minimized. I've had a wall up, and I'm just coming to grips with all of it now. Ever since this, separation took place, I'm waking up to who I have been and who I want to be. And I've been fooling myself for a long time. I've fooled myself in such a way that it has hurt the people I love the most. And that's not okay. And I just know what I know now, and you've helped me with all this. I know enough to know now that a lot of us are sleepwalking through life. It's the best way I can put it. We think we're living our life. And I had blinders on to my own self. I didn't live life the way it was supposed to be lived. I wasn't going out partying. I wasn't cheating on my wife. I wouldn't never do that. But, it was just, I was not focused. I was not ever focused really. At work, whenever I look back on these things and I put blame on others so often, I couldn't see the damage that I did or the failures that I had. I didn't accept responsibility the way I probably should have. I'd pick and choose, probably the more I look back at this, I'd pick and choose the tasks at work that meant the most to me, and I'd really take pride and thrive in those. And then that would be justification to me. I did 85, 90% of this job. I'm crushing it. And, but 10 or 15%, I'm probably failing miserably. And that's what the supervisors or the evaluators see. And that's enough for them to not be satisfied. And that's happened in multiple workplaces. And that wasn't enough to get my attention. This is what's getting my attention. And, this is all that matters. This is all that matters, man. I trade everything. All the things that I used to think mattered. I had materialistic goals. I'm not saying that I don't want nice stuff, but I had aspirations of being the primary provider in my home, and to a toxic level, man. I mean, I don't know where that came from, but I've never been the primary provider in my home. And I'm waking up. I'm just waking up to so many things. I'm waking up to the fact that my wife didn't ever expect that. She didn't want that. She didn't need that. That was my problem, not her problem. She didn't care one bit. She loved me unconditionally, and she put up with so much for so long, and I failed her in so many ways that we probably won't be able to get into all the way, and no matter how long we talk about it, and I'm still probably going to discover more. And Yeah, it's just, it's awful stuff. And I just don't want anybody else. I don't want anybody else to feel this.
I really want to commend your courage and your humility for being able to say what you just said. And that in and of itself shows me and has shown me, because we've had lots of personal conversations that you can imagine over the past few weeks about this. That humility that we see right now is the reason why I know that you're turning your life around. I'm 100% convinced of it, because you're able to admit everything that you did wrong, and you're even willing to admit it publicly. And you're doing it because, one, you regret it, two, you want a different path going forward, and three, you want to save other people from making the same mistakes. And I think that's absolutely amazing. You should be proud of yourself. I certainly am proud of you. I love you with all my heart. And anybody watching this right now, the courage that this man is showing to do what he's doing right now, I dare say, like, just look in the mirror and just ask yourself, could you do the exact same thing? It's absolutely incredible. So I thank you, not on my behalf. I thank you on the behalf of anyone watching this who can benefit from hearing your story, and also thank you on behalf of your wife, because I know that you're doing everything you possibly can do to save your marriage. And what came out of all this was, the aftermath of the separation is he shows up at my doorstep, and we have to get started. We got to find out, can we put this back together again? Why did it happen to begin with? And we started talking, and our conversation led to a very interesting place. And he's willing to admit it. And I'm willing to tell you right now that we're talking to someone who used to be a man-child, a grown-up man, a big, scrapping, large human being, 6'4", over 300 pounds, but he was acting like a 5-year-old. If I wanted it, I did it. If you don't want it, I'll convince you want it. It was the attitude of, whatever makes me feel good, I'm going to pursue that. Whatever doesn't make me feel good or is challenging, I'm going to try to avoid it. I'm going to procrastinate, or I'm just going to half-ass it, so that way it's not done as well as it should be. And it got him in trouble at home. It got him in trouble at work. It got him in trouble in life. It got him in trouble when he looks in the mirror. 354 pounds doesn't happen by accident. And it's a representation of somebody who has cut the relationship to themselves off to the point where they're not seeing what's happening. And as we talked more and we tried to determine, like, why a man child that doesn't even, like, why am I that way forever? Like, why am I acting that way? And started to dig a little bit, because it all starts when you're a kid. Okay, well, let's go back to the childhood. And I knew from prior conversations, that when he was a kid, Jeff was, when he was punished by his father, who was a big, strong man, his father would pull out the belt and he would give him the lashes. And I know, by knowing Jeff as well as I do, I know how starved for love that he is. He's a very loving man. He really is. He likes affection. He likes hugs. He likes to, I love you. I mean, he's very, very openly affectionate, and you can see that he's starved for it. So I'm putting this all together, and we have somebody who's clearly starved for affection, who's an adult. And so if you're starved for affection, you probably didn't get as much as you needed when you were a kid. And looking at the connection he had with his dad, and the connection he wanted with his dad, the connection of love that he desperately wanted with his dad, and then the symbolism of the belt. Every time that he got whipped, it was because he did something wrong. So he lied, and he lied about it. So he'd lie about something, the belt would come out, right? And so what happens in life? And as he goes on as an adult, so he's getting whipped by his dad anytime something like that happens. As a kid, you don't know, you don't understand what your parents trying to do. You really cannot. You can't conceptualize an adult just trying to teach me a lesson like this is bad. Like, don't do this. I'm beating you because this was bad and I want you to stop doing it. A little kid internalizes, I'm bad. I'm bad. I'm bad. Dad doesn't love me. I'm bad. I mean, how much, think about it as a kid and you're getting whipped. I mean, you're getting beaten by a big man. The only way you can internalize that is he doesn't love me anymore. He doesn't love me anymore. I'm bad. I'm bad. And you don't even think about it as a kid, but that's what it does to your nervous system. Okay. It wires you to think in a certain way. And the way that he started to think as a result of this is, oh, if he hits me, right, he doesn't love me. So if I do something wrong, I'm going to try and hide it because I don't want to lose that love. I have to hide it. I have to hide it. I have to hide it. So what did he do as an adult? He took that with him. Unbeknownst to him, he wasn't even aware of any of this. He carried this with him for 49 years, carrying it with him everywhere he went. So he gets fired from his job. And instead of going to his wife and telling her exactly what happened and asking for forgiveness and just with sorrow and just giving her the details and asking for a hug and, now we're going to figure out what to do next, he hid it. And why did he hide it? He didn't want to lose love. He doesn't want to lose love. He doesn't want to lose love from his wife. He doesn't want to get the proverbial strap, which for her wasn't a strap. She wasn't beating him, but because of the way he approached things, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. I hide something from you. What's going to end up happening? When I find out that you hid it from me for 3 months, I'm not going to be happy about that. So that's the strap. So literally he's creating a scenario where he's getting the strap over and over and over again from the people who care about him the most, because he does things that are selfishly motivated, as a kid would do, as a child would do, and then he tries to hide them. And by hiding them, that's where the person gets frustrated and angry and bitter. And then he feels as if the love connection has been severed. So he continues to try and hide. So it's a perpetuating cycle. So he's been living in a cycle. And think about when you're a kid and you never really got that attachment to the one parent figure that you were looking for, that longing for that unconditional love. You really maintain a state of arrested development. Like you're sort of, you can remain a child in emotionally a child at that point because you never got what you needed at that age, and you can bring that with you into adult life. So he brought his childish self, coping mechanisms and all, into adult life, and he's been living that way on autopilot, living that way for all of these years. And when I told this to him, and he actually started to see the connection because it made sense. He started seeing deeply within his soul that, yeah, I have been doing this the entire time. And he started to open himself up to the truth. And this shows that he truly has a humble heart. He was behaving as a selfish person. He was behaving as a selfish person his entire life, but he has a humble heart. You can have both. You can have a layer of pride over a loving, humble heart. And that layer of pride, if you break through it, causes you an epiphany to be able to see the truth, which is exactly what happened with him. He saw the truth. Once that layer of pride was lifted, and the combination was the separation, his wife calling for a separation, and our conversation of where we dug deep, and he was able to see the connection between his childhood and his adulthood. And it literally caused him to start looking at things in a totally different way, but in a totally humble way. He was looking back and seeing, I did this and I did that and I did the other, all of these things that I wasn't looking at her perspective. When I would do something, I would think about how it would make me feel, but I never would think about how it made her feel. And that's what a child would do, right? The children, they behave based on their own emotions. If I like it, I want to do it. If I don't like it, I don't want to do it. And then a parent's there to try and teach them right from wrong. Well, he got stuck in that childish cycle of, I'm going to be the kid that does what he wants to do, but I'm going to avoid the strap. So I'm going to hide it. And I'm going to do what I want to do, and I'm going to avoid the strap. So he kept doing this over and over. And as a kid, I mean, think about any kid who's 5 years old. They're not thinking about the consequences of eating poorly. Doesn't matter to them. They'll eat poorly because it tastes good. He continued to do this and he would ignore the consequences. So it ended up as time went on, as he grew into an adult, he took all this with him. He was blocking out, completely blocking out 100%. Anything that he did, all the consequences of what he would do, and focusing just on how it made him feel. And this was the pattern that he was living up until this very point. So talk about the turning point when everything began to change for you. What was it? How did it make you feel? And just that whole transition from where you were to where you are now.
As far as waking up?
Yeah, waking up to the truth and everything that we did to we talked it through and got you to the point where you actually saw what was happening and what led you here, and the epiphany moment for you where you saw what was really happening and how it made you feel in that moment.
Okay, yeah. So the separation had to happen for me to get here. I had to have the lowest point to get here. It had to happen. I see that. And I had to feel the pain to the point where it woke me up. And even initially, my reaction was very immature, and I was protecting myself. I was even, just verbally combative. I was just defensive to the point of I'm disgusted by even how I reacted initially when I was presented with this as more than a suggestion. And so that, I guess that's been a month ago, but closer to 10 days ago, I came right here. This is my brother that you're looking at on the other side of the screen, and I came right here, and he's, if you haven't already put this together, he's special talent when it comes to helping people with their mind and their heart and their body and soul. And, I'm blessed that way, just to know you, much less to have access to this level of intervention. But, you helped me, you initially hit me with, do you want to save this? And I'm like, yeah, I do. And you said the word, humility. And you made me focus on humility. And somehow you hammered through the pride over a course of days. And, it just, it didn't hit me all at once until about, I'd say probably 10 days ago. And I'm bouncing back and forth between, visiting the kids, visiting another friend or two, and I'm at one of my buddies' houses, one of my best friends of all time, another brother. I consider him a brother too. I'm at his house. I have one of my first moments where I'm physically alone during the daytime. I'm not able to just go to sleep and forget about it and everything. And I started to have something that I never imagined was possible for me. I've seen these things happen to other people. A panic attack. I had a panic attack. I would never dream that was even a possibility for me before. I've witnessed them. My heart. I would, when I see somebody struggling to breathe, I would give my breath to them in a heartbeat to help them, dude. I meant it, dude. I've seen kids go through it, not do anything. And I was that person, man. I was feeling something I never felt before, and I had no control over it, dude. Felt no control over my ability to breathe. For even a second is too long, but it was more like minutes. And I don't want anybody to feel that doesn't have to. If you felt it before, you know what I'm talking about, and you don't deserve it. If you're in a situation anything like mine, you can avoid that if you listen. And that's what I want to do. I want to help you never have a feeling that I had. I literally didn't know if I was going to live. Like, I've never felt that before. And it's because I woke up. I woke up to the fact that I'm 49 years old, and I've done grown up things, I've accomplished grown up things. I've had achievements. I've had successes. I'm not a complete failure in life. You know what I mean? Like, I've looked like a grown up to a lot of people, man, for a long time. But I woke up, feeling more alone than ever. And I was alone physically, just for a period of time, dude. I mean, my boy was upstairs, and I had this panic, and that woke me up to the fact that I literally had the maturity level at that moment of a child. And then, I came back to you, I think the next day, and started processing further. But, I've it's even been kind of a joke before, been jovial about it. Like, I like to act like a kid, or, that type of thing. And it's been like almost a feather in the cap, man. Like, I'm, fun loving guy. I'm lighthearted. I almost viewed it as a strength, like, it's a spirit that is the positive one, right? I know I have love in my heart. I know I care for people genuinely on a deep level, and I view it as a strength. Probably my primary strength if I had to pick one. And so I chalked it all the way up for all these years. I just chalked it all the way up to just, this is a good thing, man. Like, you're a decent human being, and you love people, or you care for people, and you do it, at work. You love your family, and but the blinders that I've worn all this time, like never before, came off, and I'm sitting here with grown-up problems, ill-equipped to handle it. I've negotiated, mortgages and cars and, grown-up stuff, right? But now it's just a different level. I'm sitting here facing, for the first time, in a way, if I was single and 20 some years old, it would have been a different deal. It would have probably never hit me like this, right? I mean, I was single before and had to deal with stuff, but this was different. And it pushed me to the point where physiological, like, I couldn't control my breathing. And that was something I'd never experienced, never thought, never dreamed possible for me. And so I needed your help, and I needed her help. I needed to rely on her, because she's my person, man. That's, blessed that she hasn't all the way shut me out as a human being, that she's tolerated what you're going to learn more about probably as we talk. She's tolerated all this for all this time, and she still has love in her heart for me. And that's such a blessing, man. And I wasn't even fully tuned in what I had. I literally wasn't tuned in, and I didn't feel the love that was being given to me and shown to me every single day for my entire marriage. I didn't feel, and it's no fault of hers. It's all my fault. It's all my fault. It's all because of what we're talking about. I'm certain this is a big part of it, but it's all on me. And so much damage has been done because of that fact. And I just, I feel so strongly, we gotta stop this for other people who are likely in the same situation. I know that I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one. You brought me to a level of awareness that I can't go back from now. I'm grown up now. You know what I mean? Like, in the blink of an eye, I grew up. I had to face bills. I had to face, prospect of getting a new place and money situations, that I've been careless with money. I've been careless with, so many different things. And now everything changed. Everything changed. I have to be responsible. I have to be, to survive. And like, I've never had that level of feeling of responsibility before. And I have, whether they're in my direct presence or not, I have kids to be an example for. It's not just a single dude who's 20 some years old. I have to be an example. And, all this, the weight came crashing down like, I can't describe. And that's what caused that reaction. And I was so freaked out. Man. I've never felt like that. I never want to feel that again. I pray I never feel it again. Even since then, you saw me, we were having a casual dinner and a enjoyable time. Every time me and you were together, it's the greatest, right? And, even then, when the weight of things hits in my mind, as it does now, because I'm aware and grown, finally, I started having problem breathing a little bit. It wasn't a full-blown panic attack, but I had to take deep breaths, and it wasn't cutting it. It wasn't enough. And you taught me a technique, which was great. And, I hope that's enough. It helped me that night. It sure helped me that night. And with the nostril thing. And, I just, I don't want that for me, and I don't want that for anybody that can avoid it. And so that's why I'm wanting to open up. And I know you're the person that can help get this through to people if they open their heart and mind and listen and wake up. Don't be afraid to grow up, dude. It's time. If you're me, grow up.
Pride versus humility. That's going to be the deciding factor, because you've got a narcissist and you have someone behaving narcissistically. A narcissist is someone with pathological pride. Anytime they do something wrong, they don't see it. They won't admit it. They blame other people for it. They make excuses for it. No matter how you tell it, try to describe it to them, no matter what conversation you have, no matter how loving you are, no matter who you are, you won't be able to get through to them, because they will always deflect. Bounces off of them and it goes outward. Someone who's behaving narcissistically can be humble. They can be a humble person and just have some qualities to protect themselves that are narcissistic qualities that can be broken through. And once you break through those, then you've got this humble heart that sees the truth. And why those narcissistic qualities exist: to protect that person from shame. In both of those individuals, and someone who's a narcissist who really had a lot of abuse and became a true narcissist, where nothing anyone does is ever going to convince them that they need to change. And someone behaving narcissistically, same reason. They have those qualities there to protect themselves from shame. And what's shame? Shame is when you feel like you're worthless. Nobody wants to feel like they're worthless. So what happens when you're a kid? In order to protect yourself from feeling like you're worthless, you develop some sort of armor to put over yourself. That armor, so you don't have to feel worthless. And the armor for you to prevent you from feeling worthless was numbing out. You would walk through life and you would do things, whether it buy things or whether it be gambling or whether it would be eating or whatever it may be. And you wouldn't think of the consequences of what you were doing, right? When you did something wrong, you didn't ever think that you were doing anything wrong. You never focused on that. And that protected you from feeling shame. If you don't see it, it doesn't exist. So you would focus on the pleasure that comes from it, but never focus on who's it going to affect? How's my wife going to feel about it? How's it going to impact the people around me? How's it going to impact me? Of all you, I mean, not me, but you. How's it going to impact you? Never a thought, because when you numb out, you sleepwalk throughout life. and you sleepwalk. You do what feels right, you do what feels good, but you never think of how it impacts anybody, including yourself. And that's what you had been doing your entire life. So when we had the conversation and when we uncovered everything and we broke through and you started to see the reality of what's been happening, it became very obvious to you. I wasn't trying to hurt anybody. You weren't trying to hurt anybody. By doing what you were doing, you weren't attempting to cause anyone any pain. You never thought about it. You never thought about how it impacted anybody, including yourself. All you did was focus, like a little kid would, focus on what it is that makes you happy, makes you feel happy. Even using the term happy, it's
comfort.
Yes. What makes you, what stimulates the senses? It doesn't have to, happiness is a whole nother conversation about what truly makes a person happy, because happiness does not come from overeating. Happiness doesn't come from gambling, doesn't come from drugs or anything of the sort, right? But it's a temporary fix for the hole that's here. The hole that's self-esteem hole, the self-love hole is filled temporarily with addictive behavior. So you kept filling that up with food. You kept filling that up with debt, whatever it may be, and you were never thinking of how it impacted anybody else, because it felt good and it prevented you from feeling shame. And so once we got to that point, describing to you this and you seeing it for what it is, you decided you had one or two choices to make. I could keep living that way, or I can give that up and I can start doing things that are uncomfortable and deal with the emotions that come up as they come up. And you decided that you were going to do just that. And that's true humility. You decided, I'm going to take the path where I have to grow up. I'm going to take the path where I have to be responsible for what I do. I'm going to take the path where I have to look at my life and see the way that I want it to look, and then start charting it out and planning it out so that it looks that way. And when things that are difficult come up that I have to do as an adult, I do them. I practice doing them. I don't ignore them. I don't procrastinate. I practice actually executing. And that's what you've been working on now ever since we've had these conversations. You have been working on executing as an adult.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's fueled unprecedented weight loss. We've been working on this weight loss journey, and I've channeled a lot of this into that. I've been, so record pace with that. And I'm 100% locked in on self-improvement. You're here helping me so much. I'm staying with you for weeks right now until I get things sorted out better. And, with your help, it sounds crazy to say, but I'm in the worst place of my life, the worst chapter of my life right now. I'm in the worst chapter of my life. And any other time, I'd be drowning myself in a whole bunch of nasty food and getting bigger and fatter and sloppier, probably losing a lot of money in the process. And, instead, thankfully, you snapped me out, and I'm cautious with my money. I'm not eating much junk food. I'm losing a lot of weight in a good way, in a healthy way. I'm exercising. I'm more dialed in and focused in my conversations than ever. I'm a different person, man. In short order, I can't believe the change and the transformation that's happened in such a short time. If you told me I'd have done this in a year, I'd have been shocked. But you've woke me up, and my wife. This whole situation has woke me up, and it had to start with that. I feel like I had to experience. I can't imagine anything else that would have jarred me to the point where I had to face this reality. I had to experience pain and really shame. You said that word shame, that I don't think I was capable of feeling it. And then I had to look at my kids and tell them that I was gonna be gone for a while. And even that, I was not all the way come to grips with reality, but I had to tell him. And that was a shame at the highest level. And so it was, whether you wanted to feel it or not, you're going to feel it. And so, this process has gotten me real far, real fast, and I'm just blessed that you're helping me through it. And, that gets me back to the point is like, in short order, I've gone through a range of emotions, and I'm stronger than I've ever been, literally in the midst of the biggest storm I've ever faced ever in my life. And I actually know with certainty that I'm going to be okay. Doesn't mean I'm immune from pain, but I know things are going to be okay one way or the other. I know I just have to go one day at a time. I'm learning lessons that adults should know, and experiences that adults should have. But I'm looking at life differently than I ever did. I'm an active participant in my life on a different level than I was. I'm conscious about every aspect of life right now, and it makes me realize how unconscious I was walking through all of life, everything. I was numbing out life, and I used to think I just had a bad memory, and it was just I just block out painful stuff, right? It's not pleasant to think about, so I just kind of I forgot about that, but you made me put these things together, and I realized if I just got to face everything, and I'm capable of facing everything now, and there's going to be some bad along the way, but there's a lot more good than bad. And more I look at it, I didn't even experience the highs, the goods, as much as I could have, because I wasn't fully present either. I pray that I get to experience the goods that I really treasure the most. I had goods and I felt them, but I'm confident they're actually better than what I felt, and I want them back.
You're truly an inspiration to me, and I think to anyone who's hearing your story. And this is not the only video that we're going to be making on this topic. Please subscribe and follow us on YouTube, because we're going to be talking about his life and about his progress and about where he's been and where he's going. I want other people to be able to learn from his story, and so does he. And this is the reason why he's doing this, because the pain that he's going through in regards to the separation is something he believes, I know you believe, that can be avoided on behalf of other people if they start looking inward.
Please,
if they start having the humility to look at, what am I doing to contribute to the destruction of my relationship? What am I doing? Not pointing the finger at the other person, but what's my role in this? And so many people never take that step. It's always, what's the other person doing to infuriate me? What's the other person doing to annoy me? What am I doing? What am I not doing to meet the other person's needs? What am I doing to annoy the other person? What am I doing to infuriate the other person? Have I ever asked the other person what it is that they want? Have you ever asked the other person what it is that they need? Or have I assumed that they need and want what I need and want? These are the biggest mistakes that people make in relationships. And now that you see with the eyes of your soul the way that it was and the way that you want it to be, speak on that. Speak on the idea of communicating with your partner and finding out what's important to them, rather than focusing on what it is that you think is important to them or should be important to them or is just important to you.
Yeah, I never gave enough stock to what was being asked of me. In the childish mindset, I thought that everything was a demand or a chore or being bossed around. I mean, that was universal. I was sensitive to how people talked to me when they told me what to do. Always, no matter whether it was somebody close to me or not. If you tell me how to, tell me to do something, I'm really sensitive to how it's communicated, right? And part of that, I think I didn't process what was actually the need being expressed. And so simple, small things that need to be done in a household to keep it running, to help support your partner, I neglected because I wasn't fully present, and I didn't take it in. I didn't hear. I heard, but I didn't hear, and I didn't hear it in here. And I did, it didn't go to my heart. It didn't get to my heart. Like, my partner needs this or wants this. It doesn't even matter if I agree all the way or think it's that priority level for me. If the trash needs to get taken out now to make my partner better, then I need to take the trash out now. Like, do it. Like, whatever, how silly it may seem to somebody, or me, however silly it seemed to me, I justified it as that'll be okay 10 minutes later. Next commercial, right? Whatever. Like, I can do that later tonight before I go to bed. But if it's gonna make my life partner have ease in her heart, then I want to do it now. And like, I wasn't there. I couldn't do that before. I literally wasn't present enough to do that before. And I'm different now. Like, and that, I guess that's the, part where I had to be humbled. Like, I couldn't even feel what I'm feeling until I got my ass kicked.
And when that happened, when she issued the wake-up call, that put you in a state of mind where you had to try to figure out one or two things. You could have made excuses and you could have blamed her, or you decide to try and find a way to figure out what was your role in this. And when you came to me, that's what we focused on. And that's how we got so far so fast. Yeah. You weren't pointing fingers. Mm-mm. You weren't pointing fingers at anyone. When you came here, you weren't even sure what was going on, but you were willing to explore everything. And when you opened up your mind that way, and we started talking about you and started talking about your life and the relationship and the actions that you participated in, it just became painfully obvious. And the only person that would have said no to that or made an argument against that would be somebody who's filled with pride and who would not accept responsibility for anything. You were not that. You decided to completely and humbly take on responsibility for everything that had happened in that relationship. And the answer you just gave about sharing chores in the household, and if you know something's important to your wife, that you follow through with it on her behalf because you love her, that's humility. Pride is not going to do that. That's not me. Like, I don't handle those types of chores. That's your job.
That's what I showed her.
I'll delay it. And the procrastination of doing it later is simply your way of saying, I don't want to do it. So I'm pushing it off as far as I can. And eventually it's not going to get done because it's going to slip your mind. And then inevitably that was the way that you were dealing with everything that you did not want to do in life, whether it involved her or not. It was a procrastination and pushing to the side. And that was the childish element that you carried with you from when you were a kid that you had not relinquished. Now that you see it for what it is, you're getting up in the morning and you're doing walks, 10,000 steps, first thing in the morning. First thing, not at the end of the day, not pushing it off until 5 o'clock, not saying, I don't feel like doing it now, or I'll do it later in the day, we'll get it in at noon. No, you get up early, first thing, get out there and do your walk, and you're doing it consistently and you're doing it on your own. And that's the complete opposite of what we just discussed. That's taking something that in and of itself is not a joy, It's not a joy to just go out and walk. I mean, it's something that you would make excuses not to do before. And you're doing it first thing because you know that it benefits you. It benefits you and it benefits those around you because it's helping you lose weight and improve your health. And so you're doing it and you're doing it consistently. That's the same type of attitude that you want to apply to every area of your life in a complete opposite way than you ever have before.
You mentioned communication. I mean, I'm capable of better communication than ever right now because of this awakening. And I literally hear and see, experiencing life. I just hear and see and feel more. I don't know how to describe it better than that, but like when you talk to me, even you, I mean, you've always gotten through to me, right? So to some degree, and but like when we're having a conversation, I look at you and I'm tuned in on a different level now to life, and I can retain better than ever what you're saying and what you're trying to get across. And it's probably because I can feel it better. And like, it's less about memory and it's more about, it hits my heart. And that's what makes you remember stuff, right? Like people, what do they say? That you don't remember what everybody says, but you remember how they make you feel, right? Well, I mean, that's true. And so I've made people have different thoughts of me than I wish I did, including the people that mean the most to me. And I can't control anything in the past. All I can do is do my best from this, moving forward every day. And I'm fully committed now to doing that in a way that I would have never envisioned before. I mean, it's like I am a completely different person already in a great way. I'm a driven, I've always had drive when it comes to my career. I've always wanted to be a successful husband and father and a loving Christian, person. But like, I've had various levels of success with that, but like, I want to be my best every day in all of those areas. And then everything I touch, I more than ever, like this has motivated me on a different level. And it's something that now that I've woken up, is the best way I can put it, and I've stopped blocking things out and I just grew up, that you can't ungrow up from this. I can't even, if I wanted to try to go back, I can't. My being will not let me do that. I can't do that. So I'm here. Like so time to grow up. I'm here and I'm grown up and I'm ready to do what I need to do.
Well, everyone, listen, we're going to continue this conversation. We're going to talk a lot more about his life and about his progress, about where he's been and where he's going. Please subscribe to the channel and so that you can follow us and follow the upcoming episodes, and you can learn so much about what goes into going from a kid, basically an adult man's body with an emotional child that dwells within, and being able to transition from that into a full-fledged adult who's responsible for his actions, because that's exactly the path that Jeff is on. You can also take a look at his 7 pound and 7 day video, which you'll see up here. You can click on that and watch, because that's an excellent testimony to how hard he's working. He's really, really putting his heart and soul into weight loss. And I'm so proud of him. It's been his number one struggle throughout life, and he is really slaying it. He's doing such an incredible job, and I just love watching it. And you can follow his whole journey from week 1 to week 42. You can go through in the annals of history here at IncrediBody YouTube channel. You can watch everything, and you'll get to see the progress, little by little, the progress in his mindset, the progress in his body, and you'll be able to see that transformation take place. Comment below if you have any questions, because Jeff really wants to help people. I know that he does. This is a passion project for him. So please comment below if you have any questions. I'll forward them on to Jeff, and we'll address them on future episodes. Look forward to seeing you again on the next episode. Thank you so much for sharing what you did. I know it's going to be helpful to so many other people out there. And I just really look at you in awe and what you're accomplishing, because I know this is a huge achievement and I'm able to actually see it with my own eyes. And I'm proud of you, brother.
Blessings to everybody and love to everybody. And just if you're anything, if you think you're like me at all, please listen up, man. Please listen up before it's too late.
I love you, man.
Love you.